So I'm going to make a film review about a new film. A lot of my film reviews are about older films, so occasionally I do film reviews about new releases. I've only been to the cinema 3 times this year, which is not a lot for me. It's already July, only 3 times. The other two films I saw was Creed and The Revenant. I can't remember if I've done film reviews for them, but I thought both films were very impressive. I think I've done a film review for Creed. Thought the final scene with that was very impressive. Liverpool, big fight scene. Yeah. Anyway, this film review is going to be about Ghostbusters. Now, there may be a few raised eyebrows with this one, especially given some of the things I've said about political correctness and feminism. But to be honest, I don't really care what people think of my opinion on this. I'm just putting it out there to try and balance this out because with virtually all the trailers, there is like 75% thumbs down ratio to thumbs up. I think that's a record for new film trailers. Admittedly, when I have a bit of an interest from childhood in the Ghostbusters. I really enjoyed the first two films, especially the second one. I loved the whole Statue of Liberty scene. I loved the Titanic on Pier 54 or Pier 34. I loved the various scenes. I loved the train, the ghost train. This line hasn't been used since the 50s and all that. It's a classic. Um, so I really enjoyed those films. So when I heard about this being rebooted, my response was curiosity. It wasn't sort of the animosity the way a lot of people had. Like how dare they do this? It's sort of like there is this notion that classic films shouldn't be touched. And I've no doubt at some point someone will reboot Jaws and it'll be hugely controversial. Just watching the screen, in case President Obama is supposed to be speaking tonight to endorse Hillary Clinton. Yeah, so I'm just keeping the screen on. May have to interrupt this video, but there you go. Anyway, so yeah, when there is this concept of a film being rebooted, it's often very controversial, and I can understand that. Can understand that because it's just taking. Um, Sorry, I got distracted there. I'm just sort of seeing the headlines coming up and kind of trying to keep abreast of what's happening. Yeah, I think that there's this idea that's kind of sacred territory. You don't reboot a classic film, and I think people were especially riled up because it's four women, so it's complete role reversal. The four Ghostbusters are four women, and the receptionist is a guy. So some of the basic details about the film. Um, just got this on my camera. So it's directed by Paul Feig. Paul Feig, I'm not sure how his name is pronounced. Produced by Ivan Reitman and Amy Pascal. Written by K.P. Dippold and Paul Feig. Starring Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, Leslie Jones, Charles Dance, Michael Kenneth Williams, and Chris Hemsworth, who plays the secretary. Um, Kristen Wiig is actually I would call her the leading Ghostbuster. Now, all the original cast members, with the exception of the late Harold Ramis, have a cameo in this film in various roles. And as I understand it, Dan Aykroyd was the executive producer. Bill Murray makes an appearance as a skeptic, ironically. Although, of course, in the original series, he kind of played this debunker TV show host. Um, okay, so I'll deal with the controversy first and just talk about the film. Um, I think people are reading too much into this. And I think a lot of people are kind of jumping on the bandwagon and thumbing down the trailer just for the sake of it. Because I have a perception of how this may be. I'll be honest, when I heard it would be four women, I thought, oh yeah, this is another example of feminism being pumped into Hollywood. Maybe it is, but to be quite honest, I think you have to take a film for what it is, a comedy. Um, it's a sad situation with the world that we live in, with all the problems it has, if you start reading too much into films. Um, Yeah, if you start reading too much into films, that it's people, take it very seriously, and that's a pity because the whole point about cinema is supposed to be distracting people from it. Now, the notable thing about this film was, yes, it is four women in the lead, but there was actually not that much of the girl power thing in the dialogue. There was not like constant references about, oh, we're women, we can do this. They were quirky characters, just as the four original Ghostbusters were, but there was no indication, or very little to me, that they were trying to put forward this image of girl power in that sense. So if people are saying it's political correctness and it's a feminist statement, I don't think it comes across that strongly in the film. I really don't. Um, Again, they have this thing with the mayor. The mayor tries to sabotage their campaign, and his press woman, she's very cold, and you know, sort of, I would say ball buster, but in this sense, that might be the wrong term. Um, I just find the film entertaining. Um, I like the ghosts. I thought the special effects were great. Now I know producers have the technology to do that in a way that they didn't in the mid '80s, but I thought it was very good. I loved the proton packs. I liked the fact that I think there was some originality in this film. I like the fact that they took the logo from the graffiti street artist. I like the fact that I did think certain scenes were very funny, like when the ghost takes Leslie Jones's character in the sort of rock concert. There's memorable scenes, and everyone in the cinema, which by the way was packed out, was laughing in the scene where the mannequin kind of chases her. Obviously, Ghostbusters is kind of dark comedy, and there were some pretty funny scenes, in my opinion, that could equally rival the original films. Um, I liked their initial ghost, the kind of murdered girl ghost. I liked there was obviously some parallels with the railway line and the prison inmate that was amalgamating two of the ghosts from the second film. I would have liked to have seen one more ghost sort of entrapped before the main sort of sequence. Now, Chris Hemsworth plays the receptionist again, a role reversal. He's kind of the really, really dumb but good looking, beefcake, so to speak. And without any, homosexuality in saying that, speaking from a woman's point of view, he's eye candy for the ladies. But the point is, it was an entertaining film. Okay, so the storyline then had this kind of nerd who was working in the hotel, and he has this plan to kind of. Although I have to say that kind of made me think. Although there was a lot of children in the screening I was watching, so it's like it was directed that way towards being more of a family friendly film. I couldn't help but think this guy reminds me of David Berkowitz, or Son of Sam or something. The way he was going on. Um, but yeah, I like the fact then he died and he possessed the receptionist, and I like the main ghost sequence. So it was the ghost itself of Ghostbusters. Slimer, of course, had a role. If I had any critique of the film, it would be that I would have maybe included one more entrapment scene. They had like three sequences with the girl ghost in the house, the the criminal ghost on the subway line, and the ghost in the concert. I would have included probably one more. Um, Also, in the end, I would have had more of the ghost. Like I like the effect where we had all these little green specks flying around New York City. I would have had a bit more with them interacting with like scared members of the public, because suddenly the streets are just like quiet. I thought that could have been done slightly better, but the special effects I thought were very good overall. And to be honest, I just find it an entertaining film. Um, as for the controversy, well, okay, I'd probably switch that around. I know I said I was going to do that first. Apparently, Leslie Jones has been receiving a lot of abuse on Twitter. Now, I know people have been saying that she is not being exactly totally innocent herself. I don't know about that, but I will say this. If people really are abusing her in a racist and sexist way, if that's what they're doing, it's pathetic. It is pathetic. Dan Aykroyd apparently laid into them in less than colourful language. Um, I don't think it's the case that actors should be above criticism. Certainly not. But in the end of the day, this is a film, and some of the vitriol. I have personally seen it. People are saying, "Oh, it's no big deal." I've personally seen some of the things that are coming out, and it's pretty uncalled for, to be honest. And I don't know what she may have said herself, um, but two wrongs don't make a right. And I think it is a little bit sad that people feel that you know, it, if you don't like the film, no one is forcing you to watch it in the end of the day. And it's just a pity that people get so worked up over a film. I mean, okay, I understand if purists think it should be male leads, and a lot of people are denying that. They're saying it's about it being rebooted and so on. The way I see it is certainly, I'm just laughing because Fox News has a poll on political correctness. Literally, just as I was talking there, got Fox News in the background, Trump slams Democratic National Convention. I've got Sky TV, so I just skip between the channels to get a broad perspective. Anyway, I'm going to round this up. I apologise for all the distraction. Um, so yeah, all I would say is if you're judging this film based on the trailer, please don't. Just go and see it for yourself. Or if you don't want to pay the money to go to the cinema, the movie theatre, wait until it comes out on DVD and watch it at a friend's house. In my opinion, the film is entertaining. I think it did have originality. I think the special effects were great. The ghosts were memorable, especially the first ghost. I thought that was very good. It's just an entertaining film, and I don't think it deserves some of the vitriol it gets. Incidentally, I'm always reluctant to criticise directors. All my film reviews have had a positive angle, and the reason being is I don't like to criticise directors, because I think making a film is really tough. It is, directors are kind of like presidents in a country. They have a very, very tough job. And I always think, well, you spend a fortune on making a film, put all the energy it takes into that, all the hard work, you know, and then people just want to slam it. It seems unfortunate. I don't like that sort of cynicism. My attitude is kind of like, if I don't like a film, I just don't bother with it. I don't talk about it. I don't. The only issue I do take is if it's a historic film and the inaccuracy is such that it is glaring, glaringly obvious, or it's slandering a historic character unfairly, something like that. Those circumstances that, I get quite opinionated. But otherwise, I think people should just see film for what it is. It's entertainment, it's escapism. Many of these videos I'm quite opinionated, but I really think that if you don't like this, no one's forcing you to watch it. That's how I view it. And the reason I'm making this particular film review is just to balance things out. I really don't think the film is as bad as people are making it out to be. I personally find it entertaining. Incidentally, I respect your view if you disagree with me. If you think the film's rubbish, that's fine. All I would say is keep it respectful. So if you want to comment here and say, Nathan, we disagree, the film was rubbish, that's fine. I'll be tolerant of that. But I just don't think it's necessary to throw vitriol at an actress. It just, I mean, okay, she may not be entirely innocent herself, but like I say, two wrongs don't make a right. So yeah, okay, so that's my review of Ghostbusters. As I understand it, a sequel is in the works, despite the poor showing of this film. 144 million was spent. It's only garnered 128 million, so that's a decrease. I hope they do make another film. I enjoyed this, and I thought it was entertaining, and I like the fact that it was Ghost itself became the final scene. The ghost of Ghostbusters. So yeah, I'm going to round this up. I'm sure there's things I forgot to say, but that'll have to suffice. Thank you for watching.